In today's fast-paced world, it's easy to fall into the trap of overthinking. Whether it's analyzing conversations, decisions, or imagining future possibilities, we often find ourselves trapped in a cycle of endless mental stimulation and analysis. This constant mental chatter can leave us feeling exhausted, anxious, and even paralyzed by indecision. Overthinking becomes a source of unnecessary stress, blocking our ability to live with clarity and focus. But how can we quiet the mind and simplify our thoughts to reduce this mental clutter? Marcus Aurelius offers us a Stoic insight. When the mind is disciplined, it is free from the weight of unnecessary thoughts. This thought speaks to the power of a disciplined mind, one that doesn't get caught in the trap of overanalyzing every situation. Stoicism teaches us that a calm, focused mind is key to finding peace and reducing the stress that comes from overthinking. In this video, we'll explore how Stoic principles can help us discipline our thoughts and embrace a simpler, more peaceful way of thinking. Marcus Aurelius provides us with a key Stoic teaching when he says, "When the mind is disciplined, it is free from the weight of unnecessary thoughts." This profound quote highlights the power of a disciplined mind. In the Stoic view, mental discipline is not about suppressing thoughts, but about learning to focus and simplify them. When we allow ourselves to be constantly bombarded by thoughts about the past, future, or what others think, we lose the ability to think clearly and act with purpose. Stoicism teaches us that we can train our minds to let go of unnecessary thoughts, to focus on what we can control, and to leave behind the mental clutter that causes stress and overthinking. Marcus Aurelius's quote, "When the mind is disciplined, it is free from the weight of unnecessary thoughts," speaks to one of the most profound aspects of Stoicism, the discipline of the mind. In a world full of constant distractions and mental stimulation, we often find ourselves overwhelmed by overthinking, from obsessing over past conversations to worrying about future scenarios that may never happen. These unnecessary thoughts cloud our ability to make clear decisions, leaving us feeling stressed, anxious, and mentally drained. The Stoic approach to overthinking is simple but powerful. Discipline your mind. Overthinking doesn't rise from external circumstances. It rises when we allow our minds to run wild, chasing after every way, doubt, or unanswered question. Stoicism teaches us that by practicing mental discipline, we can regain control over our thoughts, focus on the present moment, and find clarity. The struggle with overthinking: we live in an age of constant mental stimulation. With the internet, smartphones, and the 24/7 news cycle, it's easy to become overwhelmed by the sheer volume of information. Our minds are bombarded with endless possibilities, scenarios, and worries that we often feel we must process and analyze. The result: overthinking becomes a habit. We replay conversations, endlessly analyze decisions, and imagine worst-case scenarios that might never happen. This endless mental activity leads to stress, anxiety, and a sense of being out of control. The Stoics understood that the key to mental peace is not in trying to stop thinking altogether, but in learning to discipline and focus our thoughts. When we train our minds to let go of unnecessary worries and distractions, we free ourselves from the burden of overthinking and regain our ability to make decisions with clarity and purpose. Stoic practices for managing overthinking recognize and release unnecessary thoughts. The first step in disciplining the mind is to recognize when we're caught in a cycle of overthinking. We often waste mental energy on thoughts that are beyond our control, such as imagining future problems or ruminating over past mistakes. Stoicism teaches us to notice these patterns of thinking and consciously choose to let them go. By acknowledging that these thoughts are unnecessary, we can create mental space for more focused, positive thoughts. Practice mindfulness and focus on the present. Mindfulness is an essential Stoic practice. The Stoics understood the importance of being fully engaged in the present moment. Overthinking often happens when we are not focused on the task at hand, but are instead lost in a sea of mental noise. Practicing mindfulness helps us refocus our thoughts on the present moment, what is right in front of us, rather than getting lost in what could happen tomorrow or what happened yesterday. By bringing our attention back to the present, we can reduce the grip of overthinking, limit exposure to information. One of the key aspects of mental discipline is limiting the amount of information we take in. In today's world, we are constantly flooded with news, social media, and endless content that can overwhelm our minds. Stoicism teaches us to choose the information we engage with carefully. By limiting exposure to unnecessary distractions, we can avoid adding to the mental clutter that leads to overthinking. This practice allows us to focus on what is important and reduce unnecessary stress. Reframe worry as opportunity for action. Worry is one of the most common forms of overthinking. We often worry about things that are beyond our control or events that may never come to pass. Stoicism teaches us to reframe worry. Instead of allowing it to consume us, we can turn it into a call to action. If there is something we can control, we focus on acting in accordance with our values. If there is nothing we can do, we release the worry and accept what is outside of our control. This shift in mindset frees us from the paralyzing effects of worry and enables us to act with clarity. Daily reflection and self-examination. The Stoics regularly practiced self-reflection to evaluate their thoughts and actions. This practice of daily reflection helps us spot patterns of overthinking and identify areas where we may be wasting mental energy. By examining our thoughts each day and asking ourselves, are these thoughts helpful? Am I focusing on what's truly important? We can gradually reduce overthinking and develop a more focused, disciplined mind. The peace of a disciplined mind, the true freedom that Stoicism offers, is the ability to discipline the mind and eliminate the weight of unnecessary thoughts by practicing mental discipline. Mindfulness and self-reflection, we create space for clarity, peace, and resilience. A disciplined mind is free from the burden of overthinking and stress, allowing us to make decisions based on reason, rather than being driven by fear or anxiety. When we learn to quiet the mind, we regain our ability to focus on what truly matters and to respond to life's challenges with calm and purpose. Stoicism teaches us that mental discipline is not a form of suppression, but a pathway to freedom, the freedom to live with clarity, peace, and meaning. In today's fast-paced world, overthinking has become a common and often overwhelming issue. Whether it's replaying conversations in our heads, second-guessing decisions, or constantly worrying about the future, we can easily get trapped in a cycle of mental chatter. With the constant flow of information and external stimuli we face every day, it's no surprise that our minds often feel cluttered and exhausted. This overthinking can lead to stress, anxiety, and indecision, making it difficult to live with clarity and purpose. Seneca reminds us that when the mind is disciplined, it is free from the weight of unnecessary thoughts. This Stoic teaching highlights the importance of disciplining the mind to reduce the mental clutter that causes stress and confusion. Overthinking is often fueled by a lack of mental discipline, and Stoicism offers us the tools to quiet the mind and focus on what truly matters. By cultivating a disciplined mind, we regain clarity, peace, and resilience, allowing us to navigate life's challenges with purpose and calm. The problem of overthinking: we live in an era where information overload and constant mental stimulation are the norm. From social media updates to the never-ending news cycle, we are bombarded by information that demands our attention. In this environment, it's easy to find ourselves overanalyzing situations, replaying past conversations, and imagining worst-case scenarios about the future. These habits of overthinking can lead to stress and indecision, as our minds become overwhelmed by all the possibilities and uncertainties. The Stoics, however, understood that the key to peace of mind is not in trying to control the external world, but in disciplining our thoughts. Overthinking rises when we give too much power to thoughts and worries that we can't control. Stoicism teaches us that we have the ability to choose which thoughts we focus on and which we let go. By disciplining our minds, we reduce mental clutter, allowing us to act with clarity, purpose, and peace. Stoic practices for managing overthinking recognize when overthinking starts. The first step in managing overthinking is to recognize when it starts to take hold. Stoicism teaches that awareness is the foundation of mental discipline. When we catch ourselves getting caught in a spiral of endless analysis, we can pause and ask, are these thoughts helping me? Am I focusing on what I can control? Recognizing overthinking as it begins allows us to redirect our focus before it spirals out of control. Focus on what you can control. A central Stoic principle is the dichotomy of control, the idea that we should focus on what is within our control and let go of what is not. Overthinking often rises when we become fixated on things beyond our control, like other people's actions, the outcomes of situations, or the future. Instead of worrying about what we can't control, Stoicism teaches us to redirect our energy toward what we can control: our thoughts, actions, and responses. When we focus on what's within our power, we regain mental clarity and peace. Practice mindfulness and presence. Stoicism emphasizes the importance of living in the present moment. Overthinking often happens when we get lost in the past or future, ruminating on past mistakes or worrying about future possibilities. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what is happening right now and to fully engage in the present. By practicing mindfulness and staying grounded in the present moment, we reduce the tendency to overthink and open the door to greater clarity and focus. Embrace the practice of mental reframing. Another powerful Stoic tool for managing overthinking is the ability to reframe our thoughts. Overthinking often rises when we view situations through a negative lens. Stoicism encourages us to see every challenge or setback as an opportunity to practice virtue and grow. By reframing our thoughts, viewing difficulties as chances to learn, develop, and improve, we can reduce the stress that comes from overanalyzing situations and focus on what we can learn from them. Set boundaries with external stimuli in today's world. External stimuli, notifications, social media, news outlets constantly demand our attention. These distractions can lead to overthinking by keeping our minds constantly engaged in external events. Stoicism teaches us to set boundaries with these distractions by limiting our exposure to unnecessary information and creating moments of mental stillness. We give ourselves the space to reflect and process our thoughts, rather than letting them spiral out of control. The peace of a disciplined mind. The true freedom that Stoicism offers is the ability to discipline the mind and find peace amidst life's uncertainties. By focusing on what we can control, practicing mindfulness, and reframing our thoughts, we free ourselves from the weight of unnecessary thoughts and overthinking. A disciplined mind is a mind that is focused, calm, and purposeful. When we let go of the need to control every thought and outcome, we open ourselves to mental clarity and resilience. Stoicism teaches us that peace of mind comes from within, from our ability to choose which thoughts to focus on and which to let go. By cultivating a disciplined mind, we create the space for clarity, purpose, and inner peace, no matter the external chaos around us. As we conclude today's exploration of dealing with daily overthinking, remember that the key to peace of mind is the discipline of the mind. Seneca's Stoic wisdom teaches us that When the mind is disciplined, it is free from the weight of unnecessary thoughts. By learning to manage our thoughts, redirecting them away from worries we cannot control, and practicing mindfulness, we create the space for clarity and resilience in a world filled with constant distractions and mental noise. Stoicism teaches us to discipline our minds so that we can respond to life's challenges with calm and purpose. When we stop getting lost in the cycle of overthinking, we gain the ability to focus on what truly matters and make decisions with clarity. So, the next time you find yourself trapped in a cycle of overthinking, remember that you have the power to discipline your thoughts and regain peace. By practicing self-awareness, mindfulness, and mental reframing, you can free yourself from the burden of unnecessary thoughts and live with greater clarity and inner calm. Thank you for joining us today. If this video resonated with you, subscribe and share it with someone who might benefit from learning how to manage overthinking and find peace of mind. Let's walk the Stoic path of mental clarity, resilience, and purposeful living together.